On August 16th, 1954, when Sports Illustrated releases its first issue featuring Eddie Matthews of the Braves on the cover, starting a tradition of having great cover art for the magazine that became iconic, and how the sports magazine has gone from lows to highs to lows again. We're going to cover all of that today on Daily Sports History. Welcome to Daily Sports History. I'm Ethan Reese, your guide to a rapid deep dive into sports history every day. And today's trivia question is, what 4 presidents have been featured on the cover of Sports Illustrated? Now, whether you have subscribed to Sports Illustrated in the past, there's no doubt you've heard the name, as it has become iconic. And its covers in the past have been something that sportsmen around the world have clamored to be a part of. But how did it all start? Well, it actually goes back to 1936 when Stuart Skyftel created a sports magazine marketed strictly to sportsmen called Sports Illustrated. And he would publish a monthly magazine from 1936 to 1942, mainly focusing on golf, tennis, and skiing, trying to hit that market of successful men that enjoyed sports. But he had a problem, as there was a paper shortage, and he had 2 magazines at the time, so he had to pick one or the other. And he picked the other one and sold the rights to Sports Illustrated to Dell Publications, who released their first episode in 1949, 7 years after Stewart's final run. And they were focusing on baseball, basketball, and boxing at the time, but they would only run it for about 6 months. And they realized the problem that came was people consume sports on a timely basis, and you could not be timely with a monthly magazine. And the thought of, at the time, was sports were beneath serious journalism, and so many didn't want to take on that task. And then years after the Dell production had stopped, the founder of Time magazine, Henry Luce, saw that there was a gap to fill in his market. He owned Time and Life magazine, and he was looking for something to fill that gap in the sports world, as it could be used for a weekly magazine. Although there were some at his company that thought this was a terrible idea, as Luce was not a sports fan, but he knew that there was a market for it, seeing the growth of football and baseball across America. So they planned to meet in 1954 at the Pine Lakes Country Club, the oldest golf course in Myrtle Beach. And at the pro shop, they actually mentioned this meeting of where Sports Illustrated started. And this is where they decided to launch the very first issue, where they had a photo of Eddie Matthews at the plate playing the Braves at Milwaukee Country Stadium. And he's swinging his bat, and you can see the stands all the way to the top at a night game. It's a truly iconic photo. And interestingly enough, there is no article or anything about the cover in this issue. It was just a cover because the photo looked amazing. And this cover would actually be used 6 more times during the run of Sports Illustrated. And the first issue was sold for 25 cents. Now, for the first 12 years, Henry Luce knew that sports was going to be a big thing. He saw the growth happen in the NFL and Major League Baseball. And so he took Sports Illustrated, focused on the 4 main sports in America: baseball, basketball, hockey, and football. And even though for the first 12 years it was not profitable, and it's estimated that Luce spent over $30 million to help keep it afloat, he made the right choice, as they were doing something that no one had done before and everyone was going to want. Now, that same year, they actually started the Sportsman of the Year, and that first year it was given to Roger Bannister, who broke the 4-minute mile that same year. And the Sportsman of the Year has been something that athletes have always been honored with getting. But everything really turned around in the 1960s when they hired European editor André Laguerre to be the managing editor. Now, André had worked with Time magazine before and had its experience working with sports, as he had covered the Winter Olympics previously. And what he really focused on was great photos and great writing, and this set them apart. And another aspect of this that really helped is that printing in color got advancements in the 1960s, which allowed them to print faster and allowed them to print weekly so they could be a current magazine, which was major in sports as fans wanted to be current. Another aspect that Andre also brought in 1964, he published the very first Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue. And he did this to fill slow time in the winter months, and he knew that their audience was mainly men, and having a beautiful woman on the cover would attract men to buying the magazine as well. And while Andre was at the helm of the editing bay is when Sports Illustrated really took off. And by 1983, Sports Illustrated was the first American fully colored weekly news magazine. And over the years, being on the cover was a great honor for all athletes. And the athlete with the most covers was Michael Jordan, who's had 50 covers over the life of the magazine. Muhammad Ali is second with 40, and LeBron James is third with 25. The team to be featured the most on the magazine was the Los Angeles Lakers, followed closely behind by the New York Yankees. And there was also 4 presidents that were featured on the cover of the magazine in J.F. Kennedy, Gerald Ford, Ronald Reagan, and Bill Clinton. And they expanded throughout the years. They started Sports Illustrated Kids, Sports Illustrated Almanac, and Sports Illustrated Presents, Sports Illustrated Women, Sports Illustrated On Campus, and would later start SportsIllustrated.com, which was really the demise of Sports Illustrated, was the internet and the digital age. Now, Sports Illustrated is still around. They still have the website, but it's been sold multiple times, and people just trying to use the name to get a cash grab. One thing that many writers from the golden age of Sports Illustrated said that what caused the downfall of Sports Illustrated was that they didn't adapt to the changing times. What made them successful was they were the first in the market in sports magazines, and so they were able to establish themselves. But they were one of the last of the markets in online sports magazines, which killed them when the digital age took over and magazines are not what they used to be. They've also gotten some controversy where they've got rid of their writing staff and had freelancers that were high schoolers or even had AI write articles for them. And it just shows how the quality of what used to be Sports Illustrated has gone downhill majorly, and it's nothing like it was before. And the only thing people think about when they think about Sports Illustrated now is the swimsuit issue, which really has nothing to do with sport. Now, I want to thank you for listening to Daily Sports History. If you like this, please subscribe wherever you're listening. That way you never miss an episode, because we come out every day, Monday through Friday. We want you to keep up on all the sports history there is to offer. We'll see you next week. And did you catch the answer to today's question? What 4 presidents have been featured on the cover of Sports Illustrated? JF Kennedy. The answer is JF Kennedy, General Ford, Ronald Reagan, and Bill Clinton.